Thank you very much again for listening. Please join me in thanking Dr. Andreas Ditsche. And we will now be slightly amending the agenda, where Dr. Andreas Ditsche kindly has agreed to stay on the podium and to be joined by the next guests, which are Johannes Brecher, Media and Acquisition at Tipico, and Dr. Lars Querndt, Senior Legal Counsel at Axel Springer. To get this conversation going, Dr. Andreas Ditsche has prepared a number of questions to get you guys going. Thank you.
Thank you.
Feels like, am I still on?
Hopefully.
Yeah, okay. It feels a bit like a teacher, but better for me than for you.
Please not let him.
So I would first like to ask you, Lars. You represent a publisher. So everyone knows the Bild-Zeitung, for example. So, and I talked about restrictions in advertising and so on. How is that for you as a publisher? So do you have similar restrictions? Are you more open than somebody directly in the market?
Yeah. So let's kick it off with the so-called marketing privilege that we want to talk about. And marketing privilege refers to a somehow limited liability, a scope of limited liability of a publisher compared to an advertiser. Mm-hmm. So to make that picture a little bit clearer, we can let's have a look at the roles of the publisher on the one hand and the advertiser on the other hand when it comes to the distribution of advertisements. Mm-hmm. The advertiser, of course, is somehow delivering ads, ad content, and takes full responsibility of this content. Whereas the publisher is somehow like providing ads inventory, providing advertising space, and gives third parties the opportunity to publish these ads. So the question is whether this comes somehow with a kind of secondary liability and a kind of like limited liability. And the question, well, to make it very short, in a nutshell, yes, there is such kind of marketing privilege, a limited liability of press publishers. However, this is somehow confined, and there is established case law, this is confined to the traditional print era. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of case law saying, what do we have to do as a publisher when we're receiving ads? We have to first undertake reasonable examination obligations. So we cannot close our eyes and say, oh, yeah, there's, as it was mentioned before, with a Facebook picture, we take every campaign. Now we are certainly not doing, but we have reasonable examination obligations. But let's say trade-off in a way, the compromise the courts granted is that we are only liable or can be only held liable for evident infringements. So something that is at first sight like clear infringement of the law. And
also maybe to pick an example for everyone. So if we as an affiliate advertise on the same page for a legal and an illegal operator, the legal operator is in trouble. So are you in trouble when somebody who works with you puts an ad on a page where suddenly also illegal advertising pops up?
Yeah, I mean, coming to that next question, but of course, we might be in trouble if this is somehow rather evident. And I'm coming to the example of gambling, digital gambling ads in a second. One issue regarding this marketing privilege is another crucial question, whether this applies. As I said, it's highly established case law in the print environment. So is it also applicable to digital gambling ads in our case? And we say, yes, it is. And we refer to a case law of the Federal Court of Justice, maybe 2021, where that was about a TV broadcaster that broadcasted illegal gambling ads. Mm-hmm. And it took a while, obviously, to the last instant court to find out that was indeed an illegal gambling ad. But the Federal Court of Justice said or denied the liability of the TV broadcaster. And how we interpret this ruling is that at first sight, before a TV channel gets, or broadcaster gets any notification, then we don't have to act. We don't even have to check the licenses. That's what at least 2021 was said in the ruling.
Yep.
So, but afterwards, it's another, we have maybe, like, if there is coming a warning, a complaint to a specific ad, then we have to somehow react. But what we take from that is, okay, this, like, marketing privilege can be transposed also into a digital era, but also like TV channels, but also in a digital environment. The reasoning, maybe in short, behind that marketing privilege was somehow to strike a fair balance between the interests involved. So on the one hand, of course, the public, there was no interest to perceive illegal ads. But on the other hand, there is like the interest of the press publisher, usually also enshrined in the basic treaty, the freedom of press, inter alia, the freedom to refinance press. So, and that's why we need the advertising revenue share, and that's why we also have this kind of limited liability. And exactly, that was one point. And yes, we can transpose it in our view into the digital era, into the when we receive digital gambling ads. So maybe like what are we actually doing when we're receiving ads from gambling operators? Like kind of a best practice, I would say. Definitely, and that has been brought up already a couple of times, we check, and we at least advise the business and request the business to check whether this operator who wants to advertise with us is whitelisted. So this is nowadays pretty clear, and actually we're doing at least more than what is expected from this former like Federal Court of Justice judgment, even though one might argue, okay, things have changed, there is a new law in place, but that's why we somehow determined that this is a kind of at least best practice to check, and this is quite easy nowadays. And it has been said it's either black or white, so that's what we can also like comply with without big efforts from a publisher viewpoint. Other things, conscious of time. Is it 4 minutes only?
Time flies. We have.
So we're very fast. Other regulatory requirements, for example, watershed requirements, we're also looking at. We check that, and apart from that, it's difficult. And there we have said it's either black or white, but there are also gray area things when it comes to licensed content.
Yep.
So we are, of course, if someone notifies us about specific license requirements, of course we transpose that, we comply with that. But apart from that, we are not like looking into the licenses as such.
Okay. Then maybe a question for you, Johannes. So you do media acquisition for Tipico, so you would buy yourself into for example, the employer of Lars. So why do you do that? Is that a matter of reputation? What makes it attractive for you?
I want to just give you one feedback to your panel before, because you said maybe we can cancel in the future the marketing, only affiliation. That's wrong, because everybody knows that the advertising last year in Germany was on Google, on search, 100% higher than all the linear broadcasters. Means so Google is so big.
Yep.
If so a regulator or maybe Google in the future can handle all the black markets, then I'm fine that we cancel all marketings. But to be honest, I don't believe in that. So if you're talking about more embargo and regulation or marketing, we have to think how big the platforms are. So to answer your question, when I am a marketer and I start with a new brand, I really need Bild-Zeitung or trusted partner, big logos in Germany. We as a Tipico, I have the honor to represent this company. We are also a well-known brand. So we can choose if we are advertising on Google or Meta. At the moment we are doing it not, but there's a bigger reach for our younger adults we are targeting. But I personally like to broadcast or advertise on trusted partner, meaning Bild-Zeitung or on linear TV. Especially in the future, when all the AI stuff is coming. Yeah. So we are talking about fake news. So, and if you're looking in some statistics of the Edelman Institute of Trust, so the trust in media in Germany is declining at the moment. So we are in a distrusting zone in Germany, especially for media. And the old school or traditional media is a part where the people are trusting. So, and I think gambling, and if you're looking in a long-term campaign, then you need trusted partners like Bild Zeitung or linear channels in Germany.
So then let's take that as a last word. I see pressure coming from there. I see 1 minute over there. And I'm just here to ask the question. So I think I hand it to you if maybe there's something from the audience.
Thank you, Herr Teacher.
The only thing left for me to do is to thank you, Dr. Andreas Ditsche, and thank you, Johannes Brecher and Dr. Lars Querndt, for giving this short look into what it means to be in the B2C for customer acquisition. Thank you very much.